Okay, here we go again. Going to show my kind of move and flow workout that I do. This takes about 15 minutes, and I'm just getting down and back up off the ground in a variety of ways. This is probably the most important part of my health and fitness routine when I'm on the road or when I'm traveling specifically, especially when I have a little bit more room. Right now, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of bear crawl, just opening up the hips, getting loose, warming up a little bit, going into a horse stance here. Holy smokes, I got some long arms and long legs. That's what kind of makes this kind of stuff so challenging for me. Not just my age. I mean, I think I'm in pretty good shape for my age. I've managed to keep myself very healthy and strong. But this kind of stuff that I'll be doing in this video is pretty challenging for me. But I can do it. So now we're going to do, what are we doing? Some sit-throughs. Oh, now we're going to do some basic flexibility. Very good stretch right here. Just go into plank, bring a knee up, and then kind of take your arms just side to side. Great for warming up the spine, keeping the spine loose. Now I'm doing a couple sit-throughs. Another one great for just overall mobility, shoulders, hips, legs, flexibility, balance. It's these sessions where you really just kind of hit so many different aspects of your fitness that you really need to work on, especially as you get older. You know, now that I'm 50, I've been an athlete all my life. I've been trucking for the last 10 years, where I've spent most of my life living in and driving a truck. Now I'm doing a little bit of wrist warm-ups, just kind of getting the wrist. This helps build strength and flexibility in the wrist, which is very important if you're doing a decent amount of calisthenics or bodyweight work where it involves just getting down and up off the floor. Because that's where your fitness, as we get older, is really based on. You can keep it so simple by just getting down and back up off the floor in a variety of ways. Now we're just doing some neck warm-ups. Something that's often ignored, even with people that are highly into fitness, is they ignore their neck. Do not ignore your neck. That's the top of your spine. That's what connects your brain to the rest of your body. Don't ignore it. Make sure I'm just doing some simple stuff, but even this, just, a minute of this on a daily basis makes a big difference. You want to keep your neck strong, number one. That's just good for your overall protection, so you don't wake up with all these neck cramps and tweaks that you'll often get throughout the day, especially if you're just starting out. This is something that you really need to be doing. This is foundational for me. I always do a little bit of this every day. Let's see, what are we moving on to here? Okay, now we're just going to do some spine circles. So I'm really trying to work the whole spine here, just getting the whole spine warmed up. It looks a little funny, it looks a little goofy, but that's okay. I'm not here trying to look fancy. I'm just trying to show, some effective ways that I stay in shape and that other people can kind of try out themselves. Low risk, high reward. That's what it's all about with these kind of sessions. Because I'm not really doing anything fancy. I'm not going to be doing anything handstands. I'm not doing any real extreme mobility or extreme flexibility. That's not something I have. I do one of the most common jobs there is, long haul truck driving. In the US, that's the most popular job in the country. More people work as truck drivers than anything else. Now we're just doing some tabletops and some walks, some crab walks here. But getting back to trucking, when you've been doing it for as long as I have, even though I've kept myself in good shape for a long haul truck driver specifically for someone who spent the last number of years living in a truck and driving 450 to 500 miles a day every single day, which I've done from most of this year. Keeping myself, decently flexible, mobile, in good shape. It's challenging, but it can be done. You just got to be doing a little bit every day, keep learning, and keep practicing, and you just get better and better at it. But while I'm out here traveling abroad, I'm in Ipoh, Malaysia right now. This is just in my hotel room, nothing fancy. I'm not in a professional studio. I'm not a professional athlete right now. I've been a professional athlete in the past. But, here I'm just kind of, once again, opening up the hips, building some hip flexibility, some mobility, all at the same time. This gets my shoulders a little bit. We're pushing in the opposite direction because we spend so much of our days pushing and having our shoulders and arms forward. Getting some time with your arms behind your back and pushing that way helps counteract all the negative forces we have in just day-to-day life. Just working on a little bit of core stability, a little bit of hamstring flexibility. Now we're going to do, this is a very challenging exercise, right? For me, this is very challenging because I don't have a lot of flexibility in this position. Looks a little funny. That's okay. And this is pretty challenging. I just learned to do this the other day. I was watching a guy on YouTube, saw him do this. And I go, oh, that's kind of cool. That's like some straddle 3-point bridges. It's pretty challenging, and it really hits your hamstrings pretty hard. And let's did a few of them. And like I said, right now I'm just kind of warming up, just getting my body going, just doing some flows. This isn't really hard for me. And now we're going to go, I think we're going to go back and just, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, doing some kind of frog hops. Once again, just going back and forth. I'm just trying to watch what I'm doing here, explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, the thought process behind it. This is something I do every day, but this is more of an easier kind of session. I did a similar session earlier this morning, about 10 minutes, and this is my afternoon session where I do it takes me about 15 minutes. And this is something I do every day. Then every other day, I go to a park and do a pretty difficult back workout. Okay, now we're doing some kind of toe touches. This is kind of getting some core strength and balance. And you can see I'm kind of slow here. This isn't real smooth for me. I'm just kind of learning how to do this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is new to me. I've been driving truck for so long, been driving trucks for a long time, and I work out in the truck, but I don't get a lot of opportunity to do this kind of stuff because I don't always have the room to really get down on the floor and do something like this. And you can see I'm just doing a lot of squatting. I'm not doing a lot of reps. Here we do like a back stretch. But I'm not doing a lot of reps of any one thing. I'm just kind of going from one thing to another, just getting some good movement. The goal right now is to, as I'm traveling abroad before I go back on the road in this February, is just really improve my mobility and flexibility, what I like to call the biomechanical systems of your musculoskeletal structure. Now we're just doing some hip circles. And once again, this kind of stuff, it just loosens up the hips. And it's just really good for you. I think this kind of stuff really improves your longevity. Being a taller guy and having been an athlete for so long, having driven trucks for the last 10 years, your joints kind of take a beating. And I think the fact that I have very little joint pain in general. My shoulders give me a little problem here and there, so I got to be careful with my shoulders. But in general, I have very little pain. I move pretty pain-free in general. Now we're doing some wrist circles. Once again, you got to do some stuff for your wrists and your hands. I really try to hit all my joints, throughout the day. Just do a lot of joint circles, warm-ups. Just open and close your hands, make fists. Now just kind of rotating the shoulders back and forth. This is a great exercise for the shoulders. Really kind of keeps my shoulders going strong. Get some rotator cuff action. Oh yeah, here we go. And this is kind of why I like to film myself. It's certainly not to show off. That's for sure. But it's kind of can see where if you look at my hips are kind of like tilted backwards. I think it's anterior pelvic tilt or whatever you call it, which is understandable because I've been driving trucks for so long. I have a really hard time really pushing my hips forward. Like my hips don't extend beyond my legs and my lower abdominals. So when I see that in these videos, I know to kind of make points of that and kind of keep working on that as the days go by. Now we're just doing some good upper body circles. This is great for the lower spine. So in this workout, we've kind of hit the whole spine all along. We've done the neck, the back, the general spine in general, and then the lower spine with this exercise. And this also helps stretch out the hamstrings and hips. I think just do 4 rotations each way. I try not to do too much, just enough to make a difference throughout the day. I'm not trying to be a professional acrobat or a professional gymnast or a competitive gymnast. I mostly want to stay strong and athletic as I go into my 50s, in my 60s, 70s, and beyond. That's really what these, 10 to 15 minute sessions that I do are for. I'm just doing some shoulder shrugs, shoulder circles. Once again, just hitting the joints, going through everything. And what am I doing here? Going back into some. Oh yeah. So I think what I'm doing here is I'm just doing my ankles right now, ankles and feet. So I'm flexing my toes. You can't really see it in this video because I didn't get the greatest camera angle. But I'm kind of flexing my toes right there. You can kind of see that there. And then I'm doing some ankle circles. And this just kind of keeps the ankles going strong, especially since I walk so much now. When I was on the road, I hardly walked at all. But now that I don't think I was walking more than maybe a quarter to a half a mile a day. But now that I'm traveling abroad, I walk everywhere. And I've been having some issues in my ankles. Nothing serious, but I can definitely tell there's a little bit of inflammation going on. Now this is kind of a similar stretch to the other one I did earlier. I can kind of tell they don't have as much flexibility here. This is where my flexibility really needs a lot of work. Stuff like this. In the hamstrings and the hips. It's certainly not bad for a 50-year-old male. Especially compared to my peers in the transportation industry, you might say. But from an athletic standard, it needs a decent amount of work, which is why I'm doing this. Now what am I doing? Oh yeah, this is going to be pretty. Yeah, this is kind of where I start looking really funny and goofy. But that's why I show it. I'm not trying to show off here. I'm trying to show what I do, where I need work, and what specifically I work on to keep myself going strong. Because there's a lot of people that are interested in longevity. And I'm going to tell you something, being strong, healthy, and athletic is a great thing. It is a gift in life to go through, your life like that, in a state of just being strong and healthy, if I repeat myself a little bit too much. Yeah, this is a tough stretch for me. It's a stretch and balance, so it's a really good one to do. But, you watch some people who are specialize in yoga, and they'll, they can pull their feet to the back of their head. Pretty crazy. But just being able to do this, just grab one foot, stretch out your hamstrings and your quads at the same time, balance for a little while, is great. I got a fly in here. I was trying to swat away. That's why I do a little bit of this, stand on one leg, stretch the other. It helps develop your balance. One of the cornerstones of my fitness programs, just doing body weight, is just getting down and up off the floor and then developing my balance by doing stretches like this. I'm coming up on the end here, only got about a couple minutes left. So I want to talk, to finish up, about why that's so important. As we get older, or as a lot of people get older, their big fear is just falling down. Well, when you do stuff like this, you're going to mitigate the chances of that, as I really show off how inflexible I am. This is literally about as far down to the floor as I can go. But, hey, I'm not here to show off. Like I said earlier, I'm here to show what I do. So when I work out like this, the whole point is to just develop my balance, develop my coordination, get down and back up off the floor. So if you're good at getting down and back up off the floor, and you have good balance, you're going to greatly reduce your risk of, just having accidents as you go about your day, especially here in Southeast Asia, because walking around a lot out here, the real danger isn't in, danger from other people. It's just the environment. It's, you have holes in the sidewalks. It's uneven terrain. you got to really watch your step and really be aware of what you're doing as you go about your day. And this kind of training helps you do that. It becomes something that helps you develop better body awareness, better balance, better finesse as you're just going about your day through life. And you greatly reduce your risk of having accidents that can put a real dampener on your lifestyle. Anyway, that's it. You guys, take care. Try this stuff out. We'll see you.